They see you as small and helpless. They see you as just a child. Surprised when they find out that a warrior will soon run wild. Prepare for your greatest moments. Prepare for your finest hour.
Greetings all, my name is Ben of Wiseness the Traveller, and today it's the halfway mark. We've reached it. Episode 8, Players and Pieces. This is an episode that I need to get a little bit more in depth to, but I'll stick towards my original timeline and do what I need to do. So, the episode starts off with Weiss and RWBY somehow magically on this big thing that we don't see. It's just, you just see like a little ruffle of feathers, and I don't know what it's called. I think it's called a Nevermore. Nevermore? Deathstalker is the scorpion. Beowulfs are technically the big bears in this cases. I don't know if they're called Nevermores. You can quote me on that, but I got it wrong. Weiss and RWBY bicker for a bit, and then Jean, somehow with very good timing, was able to hit RWBY into a tree. Looks like Jean's not just all of a scrub after all. So, this particular scene, or the first 5 minutes of it, sorry, not 5 minutes, about first 2-3 minutes, are about every character arriving and Blake stating the obvious. Like, for example, did your sister just fall from the sky? Yes. Did she just rode here on an Ursa? Yes. And then the other one was, did she just run all the way here with a Deathstalker on her back?
Did your sister just fall from the sky? Did that girl just ride in on an Ursa? Did she just run all the way here with a Deathstalker on her tail?
Yes. Actually, since we're at this point, I may as well discuss one kind of main theme for this scene, is the comedy. It's ran by two people, more specifically one, but two people and no less. The first is Nora. Nora Valkyrie carries the comedy with her witty outtakes and slightly over-the-top humour, but it works.
Ooh. I'm queen of the castle. I'm queen of the castle.
Nora!
And then you've got Ren, who just helps carry it on just for another joke. So, yeah, that's the way I can mostly see this bit. This scene is a waste of time. It helps to gather up the main structure on how all 8 of the main cast are going to arrive. But it's not really that big an important scene, apart from the one scene that does appear, which is RWBY thinks that she's more mature enough to take on the Deathstalker by herself. Till she finds out that that's not really the case and gets her cape caught onto one of the Nevermore's wings. I'm going to keep calling it the Nevermore because I think I'm wrong, but oh well. Weiss then speeds right towards the Deathstalker and freezes it in position. This is the first true and official point when we see Weiss and RWBY begin to slowly turn their character development upside down. From two girls that bicker at each other, these are two girls that are now slowly understanding of each other. Oh, trust me, I'm going to take the rip out of this when we get to a certain other scene. Yeah. We know the episode that I'm talking about, don't we? Anyway, the scene was only there just to establish on how the main characters are there and to make the plot more advanced. Then we get a scene of RWBY showing her more feminine, mature side here when she decides to make up a plan, which is don't care about the beasts, bloody run for it.
Right, I have had it with lame-ass high school drama and shitty jokes. Who wants to forget about all this shitty animation and just make a goddamn fight scene already? Let's do it.
And I agree with John. That is a plan I would literally get behind. We get a pretty good scene, and I do believe that this was a very well structured scene, and the characters all play well off each other. Even Yang, who gets her own scene of basically reminiscing of the times when her sister used to be young and a bit more immature, but now she's more liking her because she's becoming more of an adult.
What is it?
Nothing.
Even Blake begins to see it. The main 8 cast begins to separate into 4 different people. Now, these aren't official teams, but I'm going to begin saying them because they only appear at this rate, and I do believe it suits to me talk about this and how all of them work on their fighting styles. The Deathstalker charges in and everyone starts begin working as a team. So we get Pierre and Jean, obviously, and Blake. I do believe it's just Blake and Ren. So it's Pierre, Jean, Blake and Ren. We got 3/4 of it, and plus Blake. Then on the other side we have Nora, Weiss, RWBY, Yang, and I think that was it then. I sort of got I'm missing someone. You get my drift. There's 4 people on 4 different sides. Well, only 3 because, you know, it's Pyrrha, Ren and Blake dealing with the Deathstalker on one side. Then Jean and Nora begin to decide on how to get over there. Nora has the amazing idea to bump Jean backwards and use her amazingly overpowered rocket launcher hammer to launch him over, which is awesome! But I still prefer Blake. Now, this is why I think Nora's probably going to get some character development here, well, in the second volume, because she may be immature, but I wonder if she's got some other emotion that she can pull off. Hinting towards sadness, I'm believing that would be one that I would like to see. Then each of the teams begin their raid. Team RWBY taking on the Nevermore, blah blah blah, you know what, I forgot. I don't remember the name. And Team Juniper taking on the Deathstalker. Well, this is all played off by one of the best ever songs that I've heard of ever. And you should know because I use it as my ending credits theme, which is Red Light Roses Part 2. This song, performed by Cassidy Williams and Jeff Williams, is literally a staple within the RWBY series. Well, apart from Time to Say Goodbye, that's of course. I do believe that I said again that This Will Be the Day was my favourite song. Second favourite in the RWBY series, Red Light Roses Part 2, because I couldn't really decide, but the guitar riff wasn't as catchy as This Will Be the Day, but it was amazingly catchy. If you get what I mean. It's like, that was 99% catchy, Red Light Roses Part 2 was like 98, so it was like 1% off. Each of Team Juniper doesn't really work in sync, but they work completely well. I'm going to quote this just because I know this very well. This reminds me of the Power Rangers team up. If you don't remember, like back in the original days of Power Rangers, I believe it was with the In Space and Lost Galaxy teams, they were in a teamwork frenzy and it was all of the Power Rangers working together. To quote Linkara, he stated that each of the Power Rangers were working in sync, meaning that their fighting styles didn't clash with each other and none of them had a quarrel. Team Juniper shows a middle ground of that. Their fighting styles only began to work towards the end and they couldn't understand what to do. But Team RWBY, well, RWBY and Yang worked not really much because we didn't get to see them work, but I would like to see them work together. But the team begins to work in sync, using all their weapons and abilities to their advantage. Blake using her kind of whip to create a slingshot, RWBY using her scythe to use as basically the stone, as we'll call it here. Yang will be able to control this as a slingshot, And, well, yeah, you can kind of guess where this goes. Launching Ruby straight at the Nevermore's neck, bringing the Nevermore right up the glyphs. Now I get to quote my scene. She uses the rest of her energy to use the glyphs, but then she runs out, as you can see from her tired motion. Ruby uses her semblance, which is speed, and yes, okay, I get it, there are some rose petals, but the rose petals disappear. The rest of the rose, well, blood, technically. The Nevermore creates blood and that disappears. Where then Ruby creates rose petals. That comes out of her hood. She used her semblance.
Goes it goes it goes it goes it goes it goes it goes
So yeah, that was a thing. Each and every one of the team worked very well together, and then we get the introductions of our teams. First we get Team Cardinal, or, in the quotation marks, the team that will basically be working for the evil people and will slowly portray the school and everyone else.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the team who will inevitably turn evil and help the bad guys against the good guys? Team Kurt.
Yeah, alright.
Then we get the team that should have actually taken the place anyway because they're actually more character developed and have better characteristics, but you're the second Team Ruby, Team Juniper.
You guys will be known as Team Why Isn't This Show About You Guys, goddammit.
And then they led by Jean. I do agree though that Jean should have been the leader, because it will give him some stuff to do. And then you have Ruby Rose, Blake Belladonna, Yang Xiaolong, and Wai Shanine. Not really how you spell Ruby, but you get my drift.
And you guys can be team name of the show, team main character, team who gives a shit, honestly, where's my fucking coffee?
And then we have Team Ruby formed, led by Ruby Rose. Everything begins to work together until a very specific scene. We should remember this. The camera switches to a bit more of a different night effect, showing us a warehouse which I do believe must be in the downtown area of Vale. We then see Roman Torchwick discussing over the phone and looking at a map, some that says cops and dumb cops. This doesn't really make any sense, but I'm sure it'll be forsaken later. Then 4 or 5 cards are laid down on the table. I have no idea what purpose they have. I think they're credit cards. Then we get to see a crate load of dust. Then Roman replies that they're going to need more men. It seems like on that map their target is Beacon Academy. I wonder if they've got some kind of precious gem that they're holding. It must be stated though, because if I remember correctly, in the first scene there's a glowing crystal or some kind of glow coming from the top of the main beacon tower. And think about the name, Beacon Academy. It is a beacon of hope, that kind of thing. There's got to be something lighting it. I know this review is a short one, but as I said, I want to get the rest of the series done so I can work on Volume 2. Now that my retrospective is completed, or me and Redemption 2 working on the actual Volume 2 intro, I believe it's gone a very good path. So yeah, this episode, flawless. I could not find a problem. The scenes that seemed to be out of place actually worked in the benefit, stating on like how the characters arrived and some comedy aspects that were actually good apart from the ripping off Looney Tunes in the last episode. In short, the story was amazing, the characters were well developed at this point, everything flowed at a nice pace and everything was presented in a nice place. I give this episode a 10 out of 10. A must-watch, legit episode that you must see. So yeah, that's this episode. I hope you all have a pleasant evening. Oh, yeah, my question. I forget about them. Right. How about this? Apart from the obvious, what the hell was that bird called? Because I think it's called an evermore. I don't know. You can quote me on that. Let's see. I've got two. Just one personal and one that will be related for the next episode. What did you think of Red Light Roses Part 2? And if you haven't heard of it, go listen to it. Seriously, it's a fantastic piece that you should all listen to. I want to hear your thoughts. It's slightly intriguing to know this stuff. Well, yeah. My main question? Not really anything I could, to be honest, ask. If you could think of a different way they would have killed them, like both Team Juniper and Team RWBY, like Team RWBY killed the Nevermore and Team Juniper killed the Deathstalker, you can decide, like, change like how I would have fought. So instead of like Team RWBY using the slingshot effect, it could have been on the lines of impaling it. Like Yang punches it and Weiss can impale it or slice it, and then it gets sliced by the other, by Blake and RWBY, cutting it to 4 pieces, and then each 4 of them running up the mountain, or the mountain. Anyway, I'd like to hear what you guys have got. Enjoy yourselves. Have a very nice day, evening, night, whatever it is you're doing. Just have fun while doing it. And yeah, I'll see you around. Toodles.